Hey there folks, and welcome back to the 650 pp tryouts. In this tryout I am doing the Shelby GT 350 1965. Alright, so here's the parts for the Shelby GT 350, which is basically your Mustang GT if it's more amplified. The heck and back by Shelby. Which, yeah, this is a very interesting car because you think it's professionally tuned. It's not professionally tuned. It's a car that just sold productionally. Which I'm guessing is because of the whole factor it got sold production and not professionally tuned. Because you would think this would be considered professional tune. It's not. But you got your Windsor 289 V8 E-Type 8 cylinders. Not just any Windsor 289. It's a hypo. Which I don't know what that means. I should have looked that up, but oh, is what it is. Yeah, I believe I got like even the engine upgrades too. The only thing I did not add whatsoever was the rate reduction. That's the only thing I didn't add. No rate reduction. So there's 3 though. If you want to really make it light, it's already pretty light, weighing just 2,879 pounds. Because I even had to add some to it. So it's pretty crazy. For a big car, basically. But yeah, you can add a wide body, of course, and then not only that, it has an engine swap. You can give it the Voodoo 5.2 liter GT350R from GT350R, I think 2015 or 2017, I believe. Basically that big boy if you really want to, which I don't think that'd be a great idea, but you know, more power to you. If you just want more acceleration, I guess that would do it. Here's the rims anyways that you can do to it, which yeah, you can add like 20-inch rims to it if you do go with custom rims. Otherwise, really can't do much with the stock rims, I must say. Yeah, that's basically what I can really do there. For the parts department, you can add a lip to it if you really want to, which yeah, it makes the car look so much better with it. You can also just take the bumper off for some reason. I don't like that at all because it looks so bare without it. And the only other thing you can do is add a spoiler to it. So you can go with the low, medium, or the high. And then for hood pins, you got basically that. This switches out the other pins that are already in it. Because yeah, this is one of the cars that initially comes with hood pins. But yeah, if you want to know where the tailgate's at, it's in the back. It's the interesting part. It's not in the front. You got light bulbs, which I went with the warnings because it has warnings, but I don't know, maybe I should stay with the daylights to be honest, because the problem when you go with some light bulbs, it keeps the color. So you can see it's orange. So I don't know if I'm okay with that or not, you know, I probably just went with the whites to be honest. But if you like it, then so be it. Because as the saying goes, this vinyl is offered too. I'll be showing that in a bit. You also get change the cage to the brakes, as usual. Yeah, I just went with the stock rims at the end there because it looks good. Also, I like the icon. The Shelby icon. And what did I do for tune-ups? Is well, I adjusted the body height for one thing. Anti-roll bars, I think I stiffen a bit more since the taller your car gets, the more stiffening you want to do for those anti-roll bars, or otherwise the car will tip over. Natural frequency, I made the fronts a bit more stiffer as a result. I think that's really it. Downforce, the rear is a bit more. Ballast is 36, ballast position is 25. Power is 86, transmission 310, and then supercharger low end. And basically show what I installed there. So overall, not a whole lot, but It did change one problem this car had was elevation changes, because this car has huge problems with elevation changes, so be careful about small Franken trips. So here's the vinyl for that, but I also have another vinyl, so if you want the ivory green version, there's that too. Also, that's the low spoiler. I don't know why I did the low spoiler for that one, but I did. So yeah, I have two vinyls for that. So the Shelby GT 350, or in other words, Shelby Mustang, you can call it that too, is basically a legend and basically a reason why we don't have a regular Mustang 1965 is because this is already good enough. Because it's a fast Mustang. One of the fastest Mustangs. Classic Mustangs, I should say. The other one is the GT500, but we don't have that yet. Which one has a GT500? The GT500 KR, I believe it's called. You also got a later year version too of that. But yeah, the Shelby GT 350 is basically your classic American muscle that you basically straight up just get in Grand Theft 2 because it showed up there at first, and even got the racing modification there too. Which I think my vinyl is kind of based off that. I will say I really just went with my own intuition about it. But if you want to count as a base to it, you can, because it is kind of based around that. Because I do love the Shelby stripes, because Shelby is the reason why we have these kind of stripes down the cars at the end of the day. For most cars, even the Viper's a descendant of such. So the Viper's descendant of the Cobra, and you know Shelby Carroll also made that one too, because Shelby Carroll is basically a legend because not only he made the Shelby Mustang be one of the most high performance muscle cars around, also made the GT40 for another person at hands too for that. I don't know if he was in process in mind for the GT Mark IV. That's the other one I'm not sure about, but I know about the GT40 at the end there. For one example. And then basically after for Ford for a good bit, he went over to do Dodge for like the Shelby Charger, I believe. Even though it wasn't real much of a Charger, but it was something. And the Shelby G.T or whatever it's called, it's a little hatchback. That's also crazy too. But the real story though is this Mustang here. This Mustang was basically the first mark of greatness, basically. That and, you know, this specific muscle car was made in mind for Trans Am races and other kind of official races. Beat Tryouts game, so to say, in some cases. Besides the Shelby Cobra Daytona, being another one, which I think that was a 1964. But the Shelby Mustang was one of these cases where Ford gave him the rights to go ahead and just make a modified Mustang, and maybe the first kind of having a modified car sold by a different publisher way back. I'm not really sure on that. Not sure how true that is, but you know, it really feels like it though. So in 1965, but yeah. So. And not only that, but the reason why it's got its name 350, you would think it correlates to the horsepower. The horsepower I think goes up to like 350 or 300 or so. No, that number is based on the steps between one workplace to another, apparently. And when I say 350, it's rounded, so it could have actually been like 340 or something for steps. But that's one fact I do know about. Besides, you know, basically a Mustang fastback car here, just modified by Shelby. We have better suspension, and I believe engine tune-ups for the obvious reasons, not stuff. But yeah, initially just 300 horsepower. I think I bumped it up to like 589 horsepower, something like that. But so far the times though, it's not bad. 113, that beats the, if I call it, beats the XNR, which not surprised. The XNR wasn't that much of a challenge on that part. what else did it beat here, shall we? It might have beat the Integra. No, the Integra is... Okay, yeah, the Integra is 113.2, and this needs to be faster than that, so let's... How good is this best lap gonna be, shall we? Let's go around this last corner. Is a 113.377. So close, very close, but yeah. Which I'm not surprised. The Shelby's not going to be crazy about acceleration turning because it's a muscle car. What do you expect? On that part, they beeline. They don't really go for turns very well. It's kind of funny saying because one person did set it right that electric cars are basically like muscle cars, which you know, kind of true on that. They beeline hardcore, and they're gonna beeline because how heavy they are. Although the Shelby Mustang here is that counter thing because it only weighs 2,879 pounds. It's really not that heavy if you really think about it. So how big body it is for a two-door. That's really technically not that heavy. It's about right. Yeah, now onto Deep Forest Raceway here, which balanced track, so definitely gonna draw in more speed because that's the most important thing to get out of a muscle car is not acceleration, not turning, speed. Speed is the biggest case you want. That's what I see in a muscle car. I don't see acceleration. I don't ever see acceleration when it comes to muscle cars. There's like a little bit you might get out of it, but not a whole lot. So yeah, I technically really don't care about 0 to 60. What I care about is how fast I go down the line at the end of the day, which, in case you're wondering, I think this goes about 195 on a no chicane Le Mans, so it's pretty good there. Problem is, there is a massive trade-off though, because you know it's a muscle car. You can probably guess what I'm going to point at. Hint, hint, that fuel there. It's not going to go down in this case. This is the time trial portion. You'll see. Wait. But although I will say this one's very lenient compared to the other muscle cars I've driven already so far. Because just say there's more muscle cars besides this one in the X and R. So. But as of to say the control and momentum of this car, it's pretty stiff and gotta be careful about those dips, especially as I said elevation. While I did fix some of it, I'm probably sure I didn't fix all of it, but you may have to increase the body height even more just to counter that. But otherwise, where it sits at, it's pretty good for this track's case. I will say you still have to like push on that left stick on the way down the roller coaster section here. Because if you don't, it's just gonna be too stiff to turn in at all. Okay, here we go with the second wrap around here. Down the roller coaster. Second. Yeah, you get a lot of speed gonna do it this way. And the cool swing by. Nice camera spot there, I guess. 132.421. What does that be exactly? That beats. I believe that beats the XNR Gia Roadster. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering who's beating my time, there is the Viper. Because I made a mistake. I brought the faster Viper into this, so it's like, okay, I could beat him and all, but the problem is he's eventually gonna beat my time because of rubber band shenanigans. So sorry about that. I will say it did do a 132, so it did beat the XNR Gia Roadster at some point. Okay, so bear in mind that. I will say he will be replaced on the next one here. Yeah, I gotta remember, like, wait, he's actually faster than me when it comes to this track. Because the balance tracks are a great force recipe. Turning tracks are somewhat, and then speed tracks are not as crazy. Yeah, I will say that Viper is also technically decorated by me. It's similar to the grade 4 vinyl, but it's a bit more colorful because I do not like that basic red they add to that Viper. It's so basic. Now, if anything that deserves the basic color, it's this one here. Because I still kept it with the window dome white color, whatever it's called. But I changed the stripes to green because I like the green to it, or the emerald green to it. Because I mean, I'm a sucker for the emerald green or teamwork of Viper. This works too. I went with that for the Shelby Mustang. Now on to Mount Panorama. Which, yeah, what time was that anyway? So I forgot to check that. Yeah, 131.774. That wasn't bad there. That's pretty good. Now to Mount Panorama, which if you want to know, it definitely beat the Integra, because the Integra wasn't much, like I said, the Integra was not about speed, it's about turning. Because it's kind of funny, the Integra is opposite. The Shelby is all about that speed. Seeing how close they almost beat the Ferrari though, which I'm not surprised the Ferrari's a sports car, so there's gonna be a definitely a characteristic flaw about that. Which I'm not surprised. It just shows how good. While performances are going to be the same to each other, characteristics is where it's going to matter. And to the Ferrari 308, to the Shelby, I'm not going to be surprised if the Ferrari beats the Shelby in most cases. Because of its characteristic and leniency. You gotta have some kind of way to say, yeah, this beats this still, you know. Yeah, now onto Mount Panorama here, which, yeah, big track, so there for those big beefy times. Which I will try to drive as fast as I can on these. To show at least a good time, not a terrible time. It is what it is. Going down the big old straightway. Here comes a big now speed here. For like a 170 here. It's pretty quick. Almost 180 there. That's pretty crazy. I will say not as crazy as the XNR, surprisingly. XNR is way more than speed than turning and such. Although not surprising, again, the XNR is like a 1960s, I believe. I don't think performance was in its head at that time. If anything, design really. But 214.396 was it? Which that immediately didn't beat. Yeah, it didn't beat anyone yet. It got close to being the Integra. The Integra did 214.3, so I'm not surprised because, like I said, this is a. If you really want to know for fuel mapping, this is a 2-lap car as well. Oh yeah, there's the Viper I changed to. Changed to the other Viper, the Copperhead Viper I have in mind, because I do have a Cup racing ideal I have in mind for the future, but that's gonna be a while on that one. I just have it in. I'm just gonna have it in tow for this, because hey, it's extra money to be a really slow grade 4, because they really don't take performance points into account when it comes to this, which really should. But anyways, when it comes to custom racing, yeah. You wanna know where you get your money for good? You just do this. Which I hate to be exploited, but that's just how it is. And you know, I'm gonna be honest, I really want a lot of money when it comes to these tryouts, so I might as well just do this. Alright, so on to the second wraparound. It's gonna be faster. Survey says here in a bit. Let's see. Down the big old trailer. 165 miles per hour. Ooh, 4 seconds faster there. See if I can keep it. Sitting on third. Trying to get that going up to speed here. I don't know if the shift second there. Yeah, I probably should, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's just the wheel spin you have to deal with during the second gear. Yeah, you deal with wheel spin if depend on the gears. Or lower gears as one goes. But now onto the best lap, which yeah, very explosive lap. We went from 214 to 211.829. And you're probably wondering, how does it get quicker than that at this point? Oh, you'll see. But to say though, it beat every opponent. It beat every other one there. It beat the Ferrari 308, beat the XNR, and beat the Integra. Just like that. Which I am not surprised. This thing is fast and has good well control. It's just stiff. It's very stiff muscle car at the end of it. And you do have to gentrify your draw sometimes. I will say it's not as crazy as something I would say maybe a heavy Dodge or something, but you just gotta be careful about turning too much and gentrify your draw to get the most out of the car. I'll steering it to victory. Yeah, and I'm back onto display again. But yeah, again, why I use this track as an example is because since the 700 pp World Touring Car race uses this, I might as well use this as an example for speed. And this is a speed track, especially that big old straightaway. I'm happy to have something like that because yeah, this track would not be my interest if they didn't have that. I'm surprised though, like I'll mention this again, in Grid Legends you have this track in reverse layout too. Which I gotta say, if this were reverse layout, I would have done a reverse layout. But because they don't have a reverse layout, I'm not gonna. Because yeah, if you think this section was fast, going through that first turn section straight on down is also pretty quick too in reverse, like really quick. It's a surprise when you just on the reverse layout here. And here we go for the last bit of the lap. Is it gonna be any much quicker? So everybody says not really. 211.786. Although it beat basically everyone though. Now what can it do for the GT350? It can basically do Sunday Cups for sure. It can do anything America related for FRs. So the FR 550s for sure, because there's a cover for one. That's how you know you can use that. Yep, you can do the 600, especially with this setup. Yeah, you can. That's adjustive too. You don't have to worry about that. And then American 700, I'd say you could. I think this is fast enough to deal with them. Except for maybe high speed ring, I'd say be careful about that one because you deal with that black C8. If you deal with that black C8, he is a butt to deal with because he is basically the Alfa Romeo Guayla on muscle legs. And then the World Touring Car 700 for sure, and then maybe the Hypercar Parade too, considering how quick this is. Because I will say, any cars, while they are 2 watts on the fuel, doesn't mean they're technically bad. That's technically good because in most cases they're faster and such. That's healthy. And I'm trying to figure out what else is there, but I don't think there's anything else besides maybe the Historic Cup if you detune it and give it sports tires. But yeah, here's the tournaments you can do, which is a high speed in the Tokyo Parade, Trail Mountain Cup, Pan America Championship, WTC 700. I think that's really about it. So yeah, overall, when it comes to this car, it's not bad. I will say you do have to immediately lean this to like 4 or heck, maybe? No, I would say just lean it to 4 because as the saying goes, this car sucks fuel for a living, so it sucks to 2. Even as a car built in mind for racing and stuff, this car still suffers the whole fuel suckage, which I'm not surprised because then the oil crisis happened afterwards, and you know, lawsuits the rest. That's when we went from 400 horsepower to 200 horsepower in a heavy block V8. HE, I guess, on that. Crappy Iron Duke and the Mustang 2, which Mustang 2 was like a Ford Pinto just made for Mustang sedan reasons. Or coupe reasons. I mean. But yeah, overall, this is the GT350 at its finest, which is pretty good. Also, as a 650 PP racer, I will say this could probably immediately go to like 700 PP, probably maybe 750 PP if you had all the weight reductions to it. The only reason why I didn't is because I wanted a more control factor muscle car for the 650, so I just did this instead. And then I also have in mind to maybe do a muscle 650 PP in the future on top of it. It sounds like it could be a fun one on that. I just have to get more muscle cars involved, so yeah, you will be seeing more muscle cars in the future. Then the next two are definitely going to be more old muscle cars. Then Chevy and Dodge. And Dodge was just mostly known for that. Well, in Gran Turismo, there's more to it, but they just didn't add those yet. Hopefully in the future they will. Because I know oil crisis cars equal bad cars, but I do kind of think there's like a real potential performance behind it. Considering the Mustang 2 Cobra does exist in Forza as well. So yeah, if you ever want to try the oil crisis cars like the Pinto or the Mustang 2, I hate to say this, but try Forza 4 on that. You just won't get that technically much from Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo doesn't really poke at that, which is weird. Very odd and weird. You'd think they would, but considering they touch stuff like the Samba bus for crying out loud. Yep, so as the saying goes, the real threat is the Hurricane, because as you can see, he's basically chasing me throughout this. Which, by the way, I was lean 6 throughout this at first, because I thought it was like that bad maybe. It's like, then I'm realizing, like, oh, this ain't actually that really bad. Although I will note, I don't know if there's like a glitch going on with this car, but I notice if it ever gets very low, it will start burning faster. So something to know about that. You'll see that in like the last bit of the footage here. That probably won't be there by the time I'll say my goodbyes and stuff, but that last bit though is where it just starts burning more fuel than ever for some reason. Like, I don't understand that at all. That's just something I've caught an eye on. I don't know if I'm right about that. That might be just my insanity just playing against me on that at the end of the day. But yeah, it just feels like at the end of the day it like burns more when it gets lower for some reason. Like, what the hell? And then yeah, as you can see the tire burn, since we passed the whole lap here, you can see that the front tires burn more than the back tires, which is odd. That's really odd because I didn't really expect that. You figured the back tires burn quicker than the fronts. And not with this car. This car, the tires actually burn a bit more. I don't know why I'm looking at the Aston Martin. I guess this is thinking I was going to pass him that quick. But eventually I did. Okay, here we go. Alright, maybe? Nope. Guess we're running that early. And then he freaking did that. It's like, oh crap. He freaking did an S swerve on me. Just suck it, swerve. And then eventually I passed him. He's like, no. I guess the interesting part too, the gauges, because yeah, of course it's a 60s Mustang, so you have the whole classic tachyometer where it goes from left to right, American style, until later it became the round dial, because the round dial is so much better on that, but for now it's just the left to right dial, which thank God that changed. Because it is classic, kind of is, but yeah. Yeah, it's definitely time for a change on that. Considering the RPM gauge can't fit there for one thing, because the gauge is so big. So it's just too roomy for the other gauge to fit with that. Not gonna lie, the speed's nice to look at, but not like that. Nothing like that one bit. Oh yeah. Although it is kind of funny when I mention like that, because then I gotta remind myself, Gran Turismo 7's HUD literally goes left to right about this. So it's like, it's just funny. It's like me saying I hate that, but then I look at this one, it's like, okay, this one's fine for some reason. I don't know why. I'm surprised there's not a HUD or car speed HUD that's not like Gran Turismo. It is interesting on that, but then again, as I said, it's removed, so that might be the problem. Like, it takes a whole lot of space. Yeah, I'll try to get to the other ones, but might as well show off the other cars in this competition, which is basically the same as the usual cast of game. It's always these same guys. Cause yeah, there's some races that change opponents, and there's some races that don't change opponents one bit, which this is one of those cases where they don't change one bit. It's just really the outcome at the end of the day, who gets there first, which mostly gets that Hurricane or that Corvette C7. Rare case, it'll be the Viper, because he actually using threat, which is funny in some cases. But for this case, and like, as the saying goes, while you're noticing why in the first lap we just start at the first lap instead of like the second lap is because it rained. It's about to rain here, so in this case I just punched it to lean one. It's like, okay, then in that case I need to get up there that quick as I can, because I didn't realize the rain was coming by then. See ya, bitches! Yeah, then they ain't gonna beat me on speed whatsoever at that point, because I'm basically just heading straight for the pits as quick as I can and stuff. But if I have to, no, I'll wait. But so yeah, just trying to get to the C7 Corvette as quick as I can. So I was about to say the final results. So I'll just wait this a little bit. We'll be cutting a good portion there. Because as the saying goes, this race is 30 minutes, boss. So. You get a lot amount of money though, but it's just not really great on the whole time part. As me in the Corvette pit, which Corvette was being an idiot, he didn't put M tires on by the time it rained, because opponents don't do that for medium difficulty for some reason. I don't understand that. You'd think they have tire correction, that's right, but then no. But yeah, the two real opponents here are just the Hurricane and the TT Cup, and I say the TT Cup loosely because he's on wet tires. He's about to change on the next lap here. So I had to change my M tires. They were burned like no tomorrow, because yeah, the problem about old cars or just FFs entirely, M tires, they burn like no tomorrow once the rain stops. So be careful of ever driving such cars as those, because those tires will be going bye-bye. Such. So I think you just switched in just now. Yeah, I got the Viper in the back this time around. He ain't getting up here anytime soon. But yeah, overall, if I had to say a rating for the GT350, I'd say it can assumably can. At 650, it still assumably can do. It's pretty quick. It just one issue, of course. It's 2 laps of fuel, so you have to lean for the first case and then push for the next case. But that is technically fine too, because you get there's technically goods and bad things to lean and not to lean. Lean is technically bad because you didn't really, you know, tune that car to that leniency, just said. Where if you don't lean, you get the bang out of your butt performance that you just tuned it to. Exactly. But, so for the GT350, I would say A for endurance and A for, I want to say, for the sprint side of things. It is pretty good as a sprint car, for dang sure, since it's that fast. So yeah, if you do the 700 event, you're guaranteed to beat that, like, no problems. Except for like dealing with the Supra at the near end of the pack, but that's usually the case. So if you do the tournament, it's pretty good. If you do this, it's pretty good. If you even do the Mount Panorama, it's also pretty good. You just gotta watch the tires burning like no tomorrow, because they make tires burn like no tomorrow on that race. And if I had to say for stat-wise, because I didn't really mention stats at all, speed-wise, I would say 5 stars. It's pretty good on the speed. Just I hit 190. And then even on lean, it hits like 170. So it's pretty good there overall. And then acceleration, I would say maybe a 3, because it's not really that crazy on that department. It's something. And then momentum wise, I would say 3, because it's a muscle car, so you have to be gentle with it. Kind of go all the other things. Yeah, turning would be 2 or 3. It's not really great about that factors. It's a stiff car to turn in to begin with. But yeah, that basically wraps up for this episode very much. Basically. So, oh yeah, I do have a little funny part up here in advance, but it's gonna be a bit till we get there though. I'm just gonna say about like 4 minutes here, there's about to be some bloopers. So, but until then, people, I hope you enjoy the rest of this footage, and I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care, and ciao. Oh, I'll take that back about a minute here.